Hi, guys. It's Mrs. DaCosta. These are the notes for the scientific method. If you would like to take notes as you listen to me and watch the PowerPoint, you can. If you want to just listen and understand what's going on, that's fine too. Okay, and you can always go back and watch this. So we're going to get started. And I want to start with a quote from Albert Einstein. And he said that the most important thing is to never stop questioning. And that's really what science is all about, whether it's physics or chemistry or biology. It's all about trying to understand the world around us. And we do so by asking questions about the observations we make in day to day life. And then we try and figure out, like, well, why is this happening? Okay, so that's going to be the basis of basically any science class and what we're going to be talking about today. So, one thing that's interesting is that there's not just one way to do science and to answer our scientific curiosity, but the scientific method is one way, one process we can use to methodically go about trying to understand and answer a question. So the first step of the scientific method is ask a question, okay? And it's based on observations that we see in the world around us and our prior schema. So this is actually a picture of some corn plants in my backyard, and I don't know if you can tell, they're not very tall. So if you look at the brick wall behind, you can kind of see that they're about a foot, maybe a foot and a half tall. And by now, we planted them about 3 months ago. They should be rather tall. They should be producing corn. So I'm wondering if it's maybe the soil that we're using that's not allowing them to reach their full potential. So I did some research. It's what do I already know? What do I need to learn in order to help answer my question? So I looked at what type of soil I have. I did a little Google search, and I live in Newark, and I found that there was soil samples taken, and there was research done. Every time they do construction, they actually do a soil analysis of the area. And so I found out that our backyard has soil that is clay, silt, sandy, of an alluvial fan type. Okay, so it's going to retain a little bit of water. And corn actually prefers well drained, sandy loam. And loam is like mossy type of soil that's full of compost and like manure. And so I'm thinking, how am I going to change the soil I have in the backyard? I'm going to have to add something to it. So I did a little more research, and then I designed an experiment, which is step. Oh, just kidding. I had to come up with the hypothesis, then I designed an experiment. So in high school, we usually like to form our hypotheses in an if, then, because format. So if corn plants prefer sandy loam soil, which I learned through my research, then I will need to add manure, peat moss, and possibly both because my soil currently is retaining too much water. And I learned from my research that corn needs well-drained soil in order to grow. And I actually did do a little research. So I came up with an experiment, and I'm not going to read everything, but I came up with a few different types of soil. You can kind of look over there what I decided upon. But one important aspect is that I had a control, and my control is my current soil conditions. Okay. And that's so that we can make good comparisons. Um, and then I kept everything other than my soil type constant. So my soil type, because that's what I'm altering, that's going to be our independent variable. Okay. And then how much it grows and if it produces corn is going to be our dependent variable. Our constants, everything else I need to keep the same. So that's going to be the location of where I'm growing my corn so that they receive the same amount of sunlight, the amount of water, the seed type, it's from the same package, etc. So after a few weeks, I'm in collecting data every day, measuring my plants, making observations, taking notes. I'm going to analyze all the data I collected, and I can organize it in a data table. I can make a pie chart or some sort of graph to help communicate my information better. And it turned out that only the corn plants grown in soil types A and B actually produced corn. The other plants didn't grow very much at all. So, my conclusion, and by the way, this step can be separated into two different parts. I'm going to just keep them the same as step 5. Depending on your teacher or your book, they might say it's steps 5 and 6. Okay. So I decided that um, corn probably needs some amount of clay to grow, and that the peat moss did help quite a bit. However, there were some errors during the experiment. I had forgotten to water the plants for a couple days, and those happened to be hot days, so that might have impeded the amount of growth the corn plants were able to grow. And I had some further questions. Now I'm wondering, maybe there's a better ratio because I was just kind of guessing. Okay, so I did half of my current soil and 25%, 25% of sand and moss, peat moss. Maybe I need to alter it. Maybe I need to add a little bit more, maybe a little bit less of the peat moss. I could also alter how much water I'm giving my plants because in my research it said that corn plants do need well-drained soil. So I'm thinking maybe I'm overwatering them. The last step of the scientific method is to communicate our results because um, making strides in science and our understanding of the world won't happen if we um, keep our knowledge to ourselves. So it's really important to share our information with the people around us, as well as it needs to be validated. Okay. And so that is the end of our notes. And then you're going to be going on to another activity. Okay. Bye.